Yes, guys, welcome back to Stats with Jack. We are facing Norwich City tomorrow, facing the Canaries, and this is a tactical breakdown and a stats breakdown of how we can beat those Canaries. Welcome to Stats with Jack. Yes, guys, welcome back to the Irish Hotspur. It is your boy Jack here to give you that stats breakdown, that tactics breakdown, just the absolute vibes on Saturday night on how we can beat those Canaries tomorrow. But let's get to the Harris Army here, just nice and quickly. Just welcome you guys in for the absolute vibes here. Dark Sun G saying, "Come on, you Spurs! It's sad how both West Ham and Liverpool won, but if we win today, we will be fifth. Sun will score 3 goals and Reggie will score one, and either Skip or Lucas will score one. 5-0 win expected." That is absolutely what I'd like to hear from you, Dark Sun G. I want to see Reggie score one. We do have an animation coming up very, very soon on how maybe Reggie might be able to score yet again another one for Spurs, Dark Sun G. But I feel like this should be a bit of a pushover kind of side. I feel like we have a lot that can go against up these Canaries. And, it probably shouldn't be too much trouble for us. But, no shame in, breaking it down. No shame in breaking it down. Kuva99 saying he's going for a 5-0 win as well. Screw the logic. Go with the feelings. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm all feelings tonight. It's Saturday night as well, Kuva. It's all feelings. It's all feelings, my man. But big yourself up. Elias in the building. Koi's in the building saying, "Hey, guys, big yourself up. Let's smash them 7-0. Davies 4 goals and just 3 goals. That sounds like an Everton match right there, Elias. That sounds like an Everton match." And he also asked him, "David, can I join the watch along in the future?" Just hit me up, Elias. Hit me up, Elias. Maybe, we can work something out with you. Maybe we can work something out with you. Big yourself up, though, my man. Killian Kenny, big yourself up. Big shout out to Killian Kenny, absolute legend. Saying big up David and Jack, my man. And my dad canceled my trip to Spurs for the Norwich game. I look forward to it. That's honestly, that's a punch in the gut, Killian. That's a punch in the gut. I'm very, very sorry. Hopefully it was for good reason that he canceled it. I don't know the circumstances, but big yourself up, my man. I really do apologize. That does sound like a bit of a letdown. So hopefully maybe this can be the bit of the vibes that can regenerate you, my man. Adam saying big up, guys. Thanks for coming on Tottenham on tour last night. It was great having you on. It was great to be on, Adam. It was absolutely great to be on. I really love those Friday night, kind of talks. You kind of get to relax a little bit, enjoy yourself, maybe kind of let a few things slide and whatnot in your analysis and also your predictions. Great questions from Brian Ireland, as always. Great analysis from yourself as well, Adam. I honestly love being on streams with you, especially, brother. I really feel like we had a bit of connection on that one on Tottenham Tantrum Gold. So all I got to say, Adam, is big yourself up, my man. It really is nice to work with you and hopefully continue to be on streams with you. Rocky saying, "Sorry to hear that, Killian Kenny, but big up yourself. Thank you very much for giving those apologies to Killian Kenny. That does just sound absolutely rough." Celery agents in the building saying, "Morning, lads. Give big yourself up, Celery. Good to have you, my man. Absolutely great to have you. And hopefully you'll enjoy these Saturday night vibes, my man." And he also is bigging up everybody in the comment. Big yourself up, Rocky. Honestly, thank you for wishing the good vibes to everybody. Tottenham Tantrum Gold saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, from New York, USA to Kildare, Ireland, it's the man with all the stats, Jack Waddle Nicky, and his partner in crime, David Hoddle, Irish Hotspur. Come on, your Harris Army. Come on, your Flat Cap Army. Let's get the 5K. Guys, we're so close to 5K because this is the thing with 5K. If we get to that 5K number, you will be seeing the Irish Hotspur in 5K. I mean, who doesn't want to be seeing us in 5K? You're already seeing us in a 4K kind of HD at the moment, but why not see us in that 5K HD? But big it up. Maybe just send it to everybody, maybe to a sister, to a mother, to a brother, to a father out there that, just needs to hit that big red, subscribe button down there. Absolutely give it that, Zidane smash, that Romero kind of headbutt to it. Just, anybody that's new, please, hit that subscribe button. Big yourself up, though, Elias. And Sanuska joining us, an absolute legend of the Army. She's saying, "Evening, guys. Realistically, we should be battering them. We'll have to see. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, your Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cup Army. We should be absolutely battering them." I couldn't agree more, actually. And it's not unrealistic to say that. I mean, I would say with Dean Smith, they're a bit more defensively kind of, astute. They're a bit more kind of defensively solid than they were before. When you think about it, they did have, that 1-1 draw with Newcastle. They did have that 0-0 kind of, fixture with the Wolves as well. And Wolves were actually in fine form before that. And then they also had that 2-1 win over Southampton. So at the moment, everybody, Dean Smith is undefeated. At the moment, he is undefeated. So maybe we can't override them too much or overlook them too much. Para Miguel Escobardo, the absolute legend, saying, "Come on, good evening, all. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. Come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up, Para Miguel Escobardo, the legend himself, all the way from Lagos." And I do apologize for not hitting you back, Para Miguel Escobardo. Hopefully, we can have that chat very, very, very soon, my man. Like I said, I just kind of came back of a bit of needed time off, the bit of Thanksgiving. I hadn't seen my parents in like over a year when I think about it. And as well, I needed some other stuff that needed to be done, with kind of, family matters and whatnot. So, Para Miguel Escobardo, it's good to see you. And I'll be talking to you soon, my man. James Watson saying, "Big up, David. Big up the chat. Come on, you Spurs." Thank you very much, James, for wishing the chat, good vibes as well. Like I said, Saturday night, everybody just kick back, enjoy it with each other. It's the tactics breakdown. Claude Murphy in the building saying, "Big up, guys. Come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up, Claude. Big yourself up, Claude." Sean Snow saying, "How to beat the Canaries. Show up. Big up the boys." I mean, I guess maybe just show up. I guess maybe it's that easy. Maybe it's that easy, Shauna. That's all we have to do. But really appreciate you tuning in for this one, my man. Really appreciate you. Now, I believe, you and I, Sean, I believe you and I don't rate Dean Smith, and I kind of was one of those ones from the very, very beginning. I feel like that kind of just wasn't buying the Dean Smith hype. I was kind of like, this guy just kind of plays negative football and it's kind of getting away with all this praise and everything. So, let me know, Sean Snow. I feel like he's actually a good manager for Norwich at the moment. I feel like he actually is, the right kind of level for him. But I feel like, to be honest, he reached his ceiling with Aston Villa. It's not like Aston Villa reached their ceiling. He reached his ceiling with Aston Villa. But that's how I feel about it. Dave Tyson in the building saying, "Big up, lads. Big yourself up, Dave." And also, thank you very much for wishing the chat and everybody, kind of the big ups and, the good vibes. Honestly, you absolute legend you are. Anthony Keywood saying, "Going to the game tomorrow, Anthony." This is what you need then. This is the show that you need to be able to show up tomorrow and say, like, these are the goals that I see happening. These are the, the kind of players that I see being dangerous, being dangerous for the Canaries. These are the players I see dangerous for Spurs and whatnot. You're just going to be the most informed man in the entire stadium, my man. You're going to be the most informed man. Golden Coxon, hello, everyone. I can't see it. Taking much to the rattle Canaries cage. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. It won't take much to rattle their cage. It really won't. It really won't, Golden Cock. But we will still break it down nonetheless. But the Irish Hotspur, David, everybody's saying, everyone mark Tuesday, 8 p.m. down in your calendar. By the way, everybody, on Tuesday at 8 p.m. GMT at 8 p.m. UK time, we will be talking with Mickey Hazard as well as with a few other guests as well. The absolute legend of Spurs. We will be just, kind of going over the glory days, just talking about what it's like, to walk out of the tunnel, what it's like, to be a Spurs fan as well as play for Spurs. It's just, we'll be talking to Mickey Hazard. Everybody, mark your calendars Tuesday. Just, clear your calendar on Tuesday. That's what you're doing that evening. You're showing up over here and you're going to be talking to Mickey Hazard with David and I. I believe Philip Brady might be on as well. Maybe Dermot might be on as well. So big yourself up though. David, thank you for reminding everybody. Spurs 72 saying, "I snooze most of the afternoon so I could come here. Jack, tell us how we whip up the Canaries. Hope you're well, Jack and chat." Big yourself up, Spurs 72. I'm actually doing quite well. Honestly, with the stats with Jack, you kind of got to pull out the notepad, got to pull out the paper and whatnot. Just got to get ready for it, because when you think about it, it is a bit of, kind of a classes in session kind of show. It's absolute vibes. I mean, I'm the coolest teacher in the world. I'll tell you that. I let everything slide. But at the same time, everybody's got to show up with their stats. Everybody's got to show up, be well informed for it. So hopefully, got a good snooze in before you came into this classroom. But big yourself up, Spurs 72, my man. Big yourself up. Sean Clark is going for a 14-0. That would be absolutely crazy, my man. That would be absolutely crazy. Derek Hutchinson saying, "Big up, Jack, 2-0 Spurs." That's actually the prediction I'm going for. That's, if I'm being realistic, because I feel like with Dean Smith, it's hard to score a lot of goals past Dean Smith, but is it going to be comfortable? I feel like it's going to be comfortable, my man. I really do feel like it is. Just making sure I'm not missing everybody. David is tuning in, everybody, for this one. Killian Calley saying, hopefully to see Everton and March Rocky. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you're owed a fixture to see, my man, Killian. Aaron Mullins saying Norwich are shite. I mean, at the moment there, I feel like they're a bit better though defensively. That's the big difference though. They are a bit better defensively than they were before. Brian C. Socrates saying, "Big up lads, time to kick on now." and open up a can of goal fest on our opponents tomorrow. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, your Harris Army. I'm looking forward to it, Brian. I'm looking forward to it. It is going to be a can of goals. It's not going to be a can of worms. It's going to be a can of goals, my man. Big yourself up, though. Christopher Inshaw saying all Spurs fans going to the game on Sunday. Applause on the 6th minute for Arthur Labinjo. Hughes, big yourself up, Christopher. Thank you for reminding us, especially in the 6th minute. Hopefully that will happen. I'm pretty sure that will be happening, but do inform me more on it, Christopher and Shaw. Big yourself up, though, my man. Really, hopefully you inform me a bit more on that. Beakwood, aka Dragalus or Adragalus, saying I noticed that despite playing central, Son and Lucas do not interchange positions, always sticking to the mid right or the mid left. Strange. It is a bit strange. You would probably like to see them be a bit more fluid, but at the same time, I think the reason being is because Lucas, there's no better guy in the Spurs squad at the moment at being able to cut inside from that right flank and be able to kind of make things happen. He's honestly quite brilliant at it when you think about it. He is quite decent in the middle. He really knows how to be able to kind of create chaos in the middle. We have an animation for you as well, Beakwood or Adrigalis. We got a big animation for you to be able to satisfy that need, my man. So hopefully, you kind of see why that isn't too strange. But I know what you mean. You kind of want to see them kind of interchange. You want to see them kind of flow with each other. Not be so kind of regimented in their positions. I could completely see where you're coming from. Vince Vega saying, "Come on, you Spurs! I'm going to my second game of the season tomorrow versus the Canaries. Let's have a Kane and Sonny brace." 4-0. Big up yourself. Big yourself up, Jack. Big yourself up, Vince Vega. Big yourself up. And honestly, enjoy yourself tomorrow. Enjoy yourself. And like a few others, and that might be, heading over to the game tomorrow, you'll be the most informed man in the building. You really will be. Probably just might as well pull out a monocle, put on a flat cap and a monocle together and just call yourself the professor, because after watching this show, you'll be a professor in the building. But big yourself up. Shamu saying St. Pauli beating Schalke 2-1, 10 minutes to go. That's insane. Big up to St. Pauli. I know Shamu's a big St. Pauli fan, so there you are. Hopefully you watched their Classicer, everybody, as well. Just a bit of flat cap Euro talk coming to you. Hopefully you watched their Classicer. Wayne Bonner saying, "Evening, Jack. Hope you're well." I hope you're well, Wayne Bonner. And honestly, I hope you enjoy the show as well, my man. And like I said, anybody that's tuning in for this one, it's just absolute vibes. Just sit down, relax, pull out the notepad, and you'll be the most informed man going into the pub, the most informed man going into the stadium, the most informed man setting up in front of your couch in front of your own home. But big yourself up, Wayne Bonner. And also, like I said, hopefully you're enjoying yourself this evening, my man. Hopefully you are. Dark Sun G with a big super chat saying, if we can play 90 minutes with full force like we did against Brentford with only 2 days rest, then we can say with confidence that Conte raised our fitness. I'm going to take it a step further, Dark Sun G. I feel like we already did raise our fitness, my man. I really feel like we already did. When you think about it as well, I haven't seen the stats on it yet, maybe because, I'm a bit uninformed in that part. The part I'm not uninformed on the stats, but, I feel like we did outrun Brentford. I feel like we outran Leeds, which is just no team outruns Leeds when you think about it. And we're just in much better shape than we ever have been. And you might also say that, being in shape, being a bit more fit than other teams, it goes a long, long way. It goes a lot further than you probably would like to think. It actually, helps you kind of be the difference between winning 1-0 and winning 2-0, the difference between holding on to a lead, the difference between not blowing a lead. It really is like, and we're probably seeing the big difference between, the Jose Mourinho side and maybe the Conte side is, at least with the Conte side, you're seeing, a team be extremely fit. You're seeing a team, being able to just do absolute laps over the other team. And I'm loving it personally. I really am loving it. And even to see Harry Kane pull off 90 minutes, as well, like all of a sudden, again, it is quite spectacular. But Dark Sun G, like I said, I really want you maybe at some point, if you're willing to maybe join me at some stage, maybe for the Stats with Jack, my man. I would love to see you join me for this one. You're you're kind of the father to me when it comes to Stats with Jack. You'd be my partner in crime. So, just let David or I know via email, like in the comment in the description down below. Let us know if you're actually willing or even interested at some stage or not to maybe come on to Stats with Jack. I honestly would be absolute vibes with each other. Cody Maxon, absolute fire. Honestly, Cody, like I said, just sit back, relax, and enjoy it, my man. But big yourself up, brother. Big yourself up. Just making sure I'm not missing anybody. The Truth Sets Free is in the building. Big up, Truth Sets Free. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. Like I said, down in Massachusetts, hopefully the weather is doing okay for you, my brother. Over here in New York, I would say I actually haven't been outside too much, except maybe to take the recycle and the garbage out, to take the bins out. But, it seems to be okay over here. The sun is still, nice, shite and brining. But it's still kind of it's a bit cold. It's a bit cold at the moment. It's a bit cold at the moment. But it's a bit shite out there. That's all I can say. It's a bit shite out there. But big yourself up, and also thank you very much. Like you said, listen to the truth. Listen to the crew. Big boss man saying, "Woo! Big up, big boss man. Absolutely. Keep up the good work, my man. Honestly, absolute legend you are. Absolute legend you are. Just making sure I'm not missing anybody. Rachel Vita, big yourself up, Rachel. Thank you for joining us. Really, thank you for joining us. And also, big yourself up, Rachel. Big yourself up. Um, she also says, once the hitman was part of the staff, you knew our fitness was going to be better. I mean, that guy, like, actually, after our first win against Leeds, I'm not kidding. After our first win against Leeds, he was staring off into the distance as if to look for, like, potential, other hitmen out there. He was like looking to see, any, potential, fans that were going after Conte, or, the players or whatnot. I mean, the guy is actually terrifying. He actually looks like, somebody from the actual Hitman video game. So everybody just make sure there isn't a barcode on the back of his head. Just really make sure there isn't a barcode on the back of this guy's head, because seriously, he really actually looks like Hitman. He also looks like he's like 6'8" or something like that as well. He's just absolutely massive. So big yourself up, Rachel. Thank you very much for joining us. And Vince Vegas just encouraging Dark Sun G. Dark Sun G, we need you, my man. We absolutely need you on this show. We really do. But without further ado, and Sean Clark, he's saying, I'm going to the Brighton game. It's the only upcoming game where I can see us dropping some vital points. They just dropped points to Southampton. They actually got away with one as well. They really got away with one with Southampton. Southampton actually played the better match as well. I was actually watching that game while preparing for this show tonight. So, Sean, I would say I'm not too scared of Brighton at this moment in time, just because with what Southampton were able to do against them, really makes me think that maybe Brighton aren't actually a team to be reckoned with. A bit of a stats with Jack kind of moment as well on Brighton. They've actually created fewer chances than they have last season. Fewer chances than you would have thought, actually. In fact, I think they've created fewer chances than Spurs have this season. So, Sean Clark, that's all I can say. Weirdly, they created fewer chances than Spurs have this season. I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. Maybe they're just not as good as maybe people like to say. Wayne Bonner's a new member, and Wayne, I'll be seeing you Monday, my man. I'll be seeing you Monday. We have a nice warm seat prepared for you, Wayne. We have a nice warm seat prepared for you. William Kelly joined us for Monday, and he's going to be joining us from here on out. He got the courage to come on. He absolutely smashed it, like anybody else that comes on for the first time. And so I'll be seeing you Monday. I'll be seeing you Monday when Dark Sun G. It's going to be happening. It's going to be happening. Now that you say it'll be happening in the future, it's going to be happening. It just will be. It just really will be. But let me just read one last person. Lens are beating PSG. Poch is defo getting the sack. Yeah, potentially getting the sack. Potentially getting the sack. Really. I mean, could be. But everybody, let's just break down this, kind of stats with Jack kind of show, everybody. We are going to be facing Norwich City tomorrow. We are going to be facing the Canaries, and probably rattling their cage tomorrow. But starting off with a bit of cold, hard facts, everybody. 2 of Norwich's 3 Premier League victories over Spurs have come away from home. Bit concerning when you think about it, bit concerning, but with Dean Smith, also maybe a bit more concerning, considering he's probably going to be going for more of a snatch and grab. Spurs have had 6 of their last 7 home Premier League matches that took place have won. Sorry, bit of a typo, everybody. That's on me, everybody. Spurs have won 6 of their last 7 home Premier League matches that took place on Sunday. So we actually are in fine form on Sunday, everybody. We've been in fine form. And so there you are, especially at home. We are on fine form on the Spurs day, on the Lord's Day. We are in fine form. Tottenham have won both of their last 2 Premier League matches at home under Antonio Conte. There you are. Just seems like when we are at home under Antonio, there's just no better home crowd. There's no better 12th man. There's just no better man to be able to lead us, into victory than Antonio Conte at home at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And also, as well, Spurs are tied for the 3rd fewest goals scored in the Premier League, while Norwich have scored the fewest. It might not be a goal fest. It might not be a goal fest, but now under a new regime, under the new tenure of Antonio Conte, maybe it is going to be a goal fest, but just maybe on the other side of things, maybe we will actually score a lot more goals than we ever have before. That's all I could say. Head to head, everybody. Spurs' all-time record versus Norwich City, 32-1, 18 drawn, 24 loss. I mean, back in the day, I guess it was a bit more of an even affair. The last 5 Premier League matches, just Premier League matches, won 1, drawn 1, won two in a row, and then lost one. So, pretty decent when you kind of consider it. I think these were kind of a bit more spaced out when you think about it. So, how relevant really is it? I'm not too sure. Dean Smith's record versus Tottenham: one win and four defeats. So, in his entire tenure as a manager, he's actually only beat us once. Dean Smith's record versus Antonio Conte: one match played, one loss, uh, where he lost in the 2016-17 FA Cup fourth round versus Chelsea, and it was a 4-0 as well. I believe that's actually, funny enough, Dean Smith was coaching Brentford at the time. So, it's just, maybe he's not too suited, towards an Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte's record versus Norwich City is two matches played, one win, one draw. So he has yet to lose to Norwich. Yeah, no, nice thing to see. I would say, everybody, the head-to-head records, it's kind of like Antonio Conte is just a bit of a new man in the Premier League. Despite being in the Premier League for a bit of a short time, he hasn't really faced a lot of these managers. So they kind of have yet to figure out him, kind of like in the Thomas Frank situation. But Truth Sets Free saying right here, top four is happening. Get ready. I am getting ready. I'm actually getting ready for the celebrations, because over here, on the Irish Hotspur, we've probably been the most delusional, probably, the most kind of, positive, the most optimistic about, our potential chances. So if we were to get that top four, be the first time I would ever say probably a big fat "I told you so." I'm not kidding. It would be a big fat "I told you so." But big yourself up, Truth, my absolute man. Big yourself up, brother. And honestly, this is the channel. Like, if you ever were to find a channel where we'd be talking about top four, this would be the one, my man. This would be the one. Moving on, this is going to be the Norwich City potential lineup. They kind of sit in a 4-1-4-1 sort of formation, a bit of a 4-3-3 going forward, but it is going to be Tim Krul in the back, Gibson and Hanley, as center backs, Max Aarons as right back, Brendan Williams as left back. I think Lucas Rupp, I'm not, forget his first name, from originally Stuttgart, the German international, kind of in that center defensive mid role. By the way, everybody, believe his name is Matthias Norman, or, I believe Coys or Elias could help me with this one. But Norman is like somebody that's a huge loss for him, and in fact has been one of their best, midfielders this season for Norwich. And so he will be missing out on this one. He will be missing out. Gilmore, of course, probably playing in that right center mid position. And then McLean, the Scottish international, playing at that left center mid position. Jeff Sargent on the right, someone who I feel like couldn't hit the ocean if he even tried when he had a goal in front of him. I mean, if the goal was the size of the ocean, he would still miss. But maybe I'm going to eat my words. But seriously, I have that much confidence in him missing. Todd Cantwell, I kind of see, playing for this one, because Milo Rashica, I believe, is going to be missing this one as well. So they are kind of missing two key players. Norman has been an absolute incredible player for them this season, despite, their horrible form, despite, how poor they've been this season. Norman has actually been one of their better players this season, and he will be missing out. So that does mean they won't have as much of a development of play. They won't be able to build out as good as you think they would. And so, Norman missing out is a huge one. And so also with Milo Rashica, who's not really played too many minutes, but is actually, when you talk about stats, is leading in a ton of stats for them. He really is leading in a ton of stats. So Todd Cantwell, I feel like, will probably be coming in at this one on the left wing, be playing in that 4-1-4-1 shape. And then Timo Pukki up top, of course, everybody. But before I get to the key player, everybody, you can read the stats yourselves while I'm going through the comments here. Our key player, of course, is going to be Max Aarons. I mean, the guy has been absolutely spectacular for them this season. But Para Miguel Escobedo just saying big up, Adam. Lily White Wayne, thank you for joining us. Robbie, thank you for joining us, my man. Raymond Deal saying you believe in Santa. I mean, I think, you can believe in Santa if you like. You can believe in Santa if you like. He's going to be bringing a Christmas top four. If I were to wish anything to the Mrs. Claus or the Mr. Claus, I'd be wishing for top four, my man. I'd be wishing for top four. Alejandro Perez is joining us in the building saying Gianluca is the brain, Stellini, and the brawn is the brawn. There you are. Honestly, there you are. Absolutely love it. Danny saying, before, just about, maybe Poch maybe losing his job. Could not agree more. Killian Kenny, Josh Sargent. I kind of hate Josh Sargent. Not, maybe the hate's a strong word. I just don't rate him. I just don't rate him, Killian. I really don't. Like, he's just not. He's just not. I also Shimei. I'm pretty sure I said Josh Sargent. Did I say Jeff? Maybe I did. But Josh Sargent. Yeah, no, he's just. I just don't rate him. Really don't. Like the guy, I've seen him play for Werder Bremen before. He struggled to finish. He really did. He was playing alongside Milo Rushitska there, still struggled to finish. Nowadays, I feel like, he's still struggling to finish in the Premier League. Seriously, the guy's just not worth, putting any money on to score a goal. Alex de Figueredo saying, "Boys, I want to be optimistic about getting top four, but we can't become like Arsenal and go on a 9-game undefeated run and think we're going to get top four while we're playing these weaker teams." That's potentially true. That's potentially true, Alex. I kind of see that realism that you're coming with there. But as well, though, I'd like to think that, we probably will be able to, kind of hold out. We're not going to have spectacular performances against any of these sides, but I kind of feel us, kind of probably squeaking out games a bit better than maybe the likes of Arsenal as well. I'm also seeing us perform better against the bigger teams than Arsenal has. Arsenal seems to kind of perform well in the first like 30 minutes against the big teams and then just kind of get smashed, after that. We saw that in the case of Liverpool. We kind of saw that in the case of Man United. As well. I feel like they're kind of already overhyping a lot of their players, like Ramsdale. It's like everybody's saying he's doing spectacular. I think he kind of is like a David De Gea, where he kind of just makes a save look a lot harder than it really is. I also don't really trust a lot of goalkeepers with the short arm sleeves. That's just me personally. But Alex, I think we're a bit different. We're a different kind of breed, Alex. We're a different kind of breed. Craig Bowler saying West Ham are doing well. Their under 23s are top of the Premier League too as well. It's going to be a good battle for fourth. Yeah, I mean, they're things are changing over there. Things are changing over there. True Sets Free saying Tim Krul will be picking the ball out of his net all day. You certainly will be. And I actually will be having him as a player to target for this match. True Sets Free. I will be having him as a player to target. I'm not kidding. I feel like Tim Krul, I kind of like his antics, kind of like, his kind of a personality and whatnot. He's a bit kind of crazy in the head, maybe a bit like me as well, Truth, but I genuinely don't rate the guy. I feel like, he does make a lot of mistakes. And if you put him under pressure, he will make mistakes. He's a bit crazy, though, in the head, which I actually appreciate. Dark Sun G saying, if we score within 20 minutes, we will crush Norwich. Yeah, I think that is, kind of the case. If you always, I think any game, if you kind of do something within the first 15, 20 minutes, you set the tone for how maybe the match will go. I like to not really read too much into maybe the first 15 minutes of a match, but if you are dominating a team within the first 15 minutes, that is a good sign that you potentially will go on to win it. It is a good sign that you will go on to win it. But then again, think about that Leeds match. We didn't do too well in the first 15 minutes, and somehow we came out of it, being the better team. So, you can't read too much into it, but Dark Sun G, I completely agree with you in this statement. I completely agreed with you in this statement. If you'd like to follow up, maybe have me stop at any point because I am running the show on my own, everybody. So if you feel like, you want me to kind of discuss any sort of tactical point, any sort of, stats point, any just sort of question at all, kind of preview related on this, on this tactical breakdown of, us going up against the Canaries, feel free to throw it in a super chat. It really does help support David and I on our journey to, kind of just, going further in the YouTube world, but as well as it also just helps you, keep me kind of, stopped and, not going too quickly on everything. So as well, when it comes to kind of this stats and tactical breakdown. So like I said, following the footsteps of Dark Sun G, following the footsteps of, maybe True Sets Free, following the footsteps of, everybody else that has super chatted before, follow in their case, because, or even Wayne Bonner as well, just so if you want to stop me at any rate, feel free to do it, my man. Tim Krul is a tool, and that rhymes. No, I mean, it rhymes on purpose, Truth. It really rhymes on purpose. My thing with Tim Krul, like I said, I think he has, and we will break this down later, he is actually one of the worst post-shot expected goals in the Premier League. In fact, one of the worst. Maybe that's because, he's the keeper for Norwich. Maybe that's because, he's actually quite old. Maybe that's because he's not actually a great goalkeeper at the end of the day. He's actually very good at saving penalties. So if we do get a penalty, he actually has a very high chance of saving it. But he is not very good, I feel like, at actual shot stopping. I think he's just gotten a bit too old. He's not very quick on his feet. He's not good at distribution. So if we were to pressure them, you would probably find it that Tim Krul will make a mistake. And Tim Krul is a tool. It rhymes on purpose. It rhymes on purpose, my man. Wayne Bonner saying, do you think Conte will make changes to either the rest of the players or for tactical purposes? This is my thing, Wayne. We only did just win one game. We can't just get ahead of ourselves. We really can't get ahead of ourselves. We have the Ren match up on Thursday. I feel like you can make changes for the Ren match. Not too many, but you can make a few. I think it's just more, game management. It's more squad management. You keep the same starting 11 that you did against Brentford, maybe to increase, kind of Davinson Sanchez's sort of like confidence in himself. But then from there, you actually, probably if we're up 1-0, 2-0 by, let's say, the 60th minute, he maybe bring in the likes of, Atongi and Dumbele for somebody. You bring in the likes, I hate to say it, Harry Winkson for somebody to game manage. You bring in the likes of a Steven Bergwijn, maybe for one of our strikers. You bring in the likes of maybe a Ryan Sessegnon for Region. You just game manage it. You just game management. You start with the same starting 11 that you did against Brentford, but if you're up 1-0, 2-0, you just game manage it from there. You squad manage from there. That's how I would go about it personally, Wayne. So that's my answer. The same starting 11, and you will see that later. The same starting 11 that we did against Brentford, but then from there, if we're up 1-0, 2-0, you have to squad manage. You have to game manage. But Zoe as well is in the building saying, big up, Jack. Big yourself up, Zoe. Thank you for joining us as well. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. And just making sure I'm not missing anything. Delhi finished Fortnite Chapter 2. Yeah, I mean, genuinely, I think he's actually a lot further ahead along that, Mr. Crayon Man. I mean, Delhi is an absolute crayon when it comes to footballing, but maybe when it comes to Fortnite, he's a bit better, if you ask me. But big yourself up, Delhi. And also, as well, I do not, if I believe that's Arabic. I do not speak Arabic, but my sister does. So I do apologize to be able to translate your name, but big yourself up. Raymond Raymond Diebel saying the cup match should be interesting against the Hammers. It really should be. And it's also like during a really painful run of fixtures after the Liverpool match as well, my man Raymond. So that will be tough. That will be tough. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. But big yourselves up, everybody. And like I said, if you want to follow in Wayne's footsteps, if you want to follow in Dark Sun G's footsteps and maybe stop me at any point in the show, feel free to throw it in a super chat because I am about to move on to my key player. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water first. All right, everybody, let's break down this key player. It is going to be Max Aarons, the most goal creating actions with 4 this season. So he is basically the best at basically creating anything that leads to a goal. That could be a pass, it could be a dribble pass, could be a tackle, it could be anything that leads to a goal. It will be Max Aarons most likely. The second most shot creating actions as well, which is just a fancy way of saying chances created or anything that leads to a shot at all, is going to be coming also as well through Max Aarons. The most carries into the final third with 27. Anytime, they're going up the pitch, anytime they're trying to carry the ball into the final third, you will see Max Aarons just absolutely surging forward, everybody. The most progressive carries as well, which is basically just connecting that carries into the final third. A progressive carry is a carry of 10 yards or more, and that he's had 81. And he has the most in the entire squad. So again, if anybody's going to be carrying the ball up the pitch, if anybody's going to be kind of, taking the ball, into the final thirds, into maybe our own opposition half, it will be Max Aarons. He is the best at it in their entire squad. The most players dribble past as well with 22. That is quite impressive. I will say that is quite impressive. He's actually skinned more players than some players in our squad when you think about it. And so he does have the most players dribble past, the most targeted player as well. In fact, it's not a striker. It's not a midfielder. It's not a center back. It is Max Aarons. It's the most targeted player, the person that has received or at least been targeted the most in terms of passing than any other player in the Norwich side. And he's had 519 targets so far this season. The most passes into the penalty area with 23. It just means there's no guy better at putting the ball into the box, completing a pass into the opposition 18 than Max Aarons. And he has the most crosses into the penalty area with 7. Max Aarons, everybody, the most dangerous player. If any goal is going to happen, if you do see him alone on the flank, if you see him not being covered or marked at all on our opposition flank, on our left-hand side, Region's side, or Ben Davies' side, if he's all alone, do expect danger. That's all I can say. Do expect danger. And also as well, if you're going to see someone, like I said, carrying the ball into our half as well, it will be Max Aarons. It will be Max Aarons. But, hopefully, we can, silence him out via Region or Ben Davies. True Sets Free saying, have you ever seen Winky getting stuck in? To be honest, there have been moments. Yeah. I mean, generally, he's been at this club long enough that I have seen him get stuck in at times. But, if I'm going to say on a consistent basis, I mean, it's the opposite of consistency. He just does it every, it's like once in a blue moon, really. It's once in a blue moon, Truth Sets Free. It seriously is. But it's just, it's just once in a blue moon. Dark Sun G saying, hopefully we go 4-0 up by 60th minute and sub Sun and Kane and Reggie for Hill, Stevie, and Sessegnon. I absolutely love that suggestion. So we can get those 3 subs, match fitness, and prepare them for run. I mean, Dark Sun G, everybody, big up Dark Sun G for this one. Big up Dark Sundry for this one. I could not say that better myself. I could not say that more efficiently myself as well, Dark Sundry. I really couldn't. I mean, seriously, like if we're up even 3-0, 2-0 by the 68th minute, I would sub off Son and Kane and put on Hill, Stevie, and Sess. I think Sessegnon needs a bit of redemption. I've kind of ripped on Sessegnon before. I'd like to give him a bit more confidence. But Brian Hill, I feel like needs to come on for someone like a Lucas or, Son to kind of, get a bit of confidence himself. Yeah, to be honest, I think you probably would do Hill and Stevie for Son and Kane, give them that rest that they need. I'm kind of liking it. I'm really liking it. I really do, especially for match fitness purposes. And also because that Ren match will be a lot more difficult than we like to admit. It will be a lot more difficult than we like to admit just because of goal difference, everybody. Like, even if we win a 2-0, 3-0, that isn't enough. It really isn't. Like, who knows what could happen between Vitesse and Mura? Who knows what could happen? So, seriously, Dark Sunji, I could not say that better myself, my man. Like I said, this is why you need to join me for the stats with Jack. This is why you need to join me. So, absolutely class comment right there, my man. Absolutely class. True Sets Free saying great stats, Jack. No, I mean, great stats, that they're always coming. Everybody, if you want to check up on these stats, if you want to hold me accountable, head on over to fbref.com. It's where I use all my stats, where I get all my stats. It's free to the people. I don't really use SofaScore because I feel like SofaScore, my problem with it is it's not as in-depth as I would like it to be. It's not as like kind of robust as I would like it to be. It's not just all out there for you. And as well, with SofaScore, the problem is that they don't really compare it to other players. Like, they don't really allow you to compare it to the whole squad of, someone's, team. They don't allow you to compare it to other players in the Premier League or other leagues. It's just, the most complete stats book there is out there. And that's not even, a sponsored plug or anything. It's just how much I love it. It really is. Two Sets Free saying, played with Aaron's in FIFA 14 with Newcastle. Damn. I mean, the man must have been like 12 years old back then. Seriously, I think he's still quite young. So I'm actually quite surprised. Maybe you mean a different sort of Aaron's. Maybe it was a different Aaron's, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong, Truth. But seriously, I think, he's still quite young. So I'm actually quite surprised he was back then. He was there back then with FIFA 14. I really am. I think it was a different Aaron's. My man. Wayne Bonner saying, big up to you, Jack. Doing a great job as usual. Wayne, just appreciate you, recognizing, the kind of the hard work that goes into this. And also, Wayne, thank you for joining us, my man. It's good to have you. It's good to have you back. It's also really nice to just see you kind of vibing with everybody in the comments. Good to be vibing with you, personally. Hopefully you enjoy the show. Like I said, Wayne, if you're rolling into the pub tomorrow, even just sitting on your couch, for this one, just you'll be the most informed man in the room, the most informed man in the building. So big yourself up, Wayne. Also, really appreciate just the support in general, my man. Really do appreciate it. You're an absolute legend. Just making sure I'm not missing anybody. Lazy 8 is in the building. Everybody, big up Lazy 8. Big yourself up, Nick. I'll be hitting you up later, maybe, Nick. Maybe we can hit up for a drink or something later after this. Dark Sun G saying, Craig, I meant for Reggie to rest for Ren and Cess to get match fitness for Premier League because I know he gets red card. Dark Sun J, absolutely love that comment. Absolutely love that comment, my man. But there it is, everybody, on Max Aaron's. Like I said, this is the most likely person to create a goal. This is the most likely person to be able to kind of, carry the ball forward for them. Basically, anything that leads to some sort of shot, anything that leads to some sort of goal, it is most likely going to be somewhat in some way developed by Max Aaron's. It is going to be that way. The next one, and this we can go through this quickly, because Norwich at the end of the day, with Milo Rashica out, who's had the most shot creating actions for them, with Norman, who's also out as well. Like I said, Elias, who I think you should actually help me out on, who's been brilliant for the Norwegian national team, as well as also being brilliant for Norwich as well. Two of their big players are out for this one. So it's hard to find an unsung hero. Those would have been my two unsung heroes, and they were taken away from me. So I had to go for my third option here with Grant Hanley, and this is their center back, everybody. And he has the most tackles and interceptions combined with 47. That's not really that many. The most shots blocked with 17. The most aerials won with 78. That is a fair amount of aerials won. And he also has the highest aerial win percentage with 76.2%. Most ball recoveries, which is basically any sort of loose ball, any sort of moment where, like any team could win it. It's basically another fancy way of saying a second ball. Really, it's just a fancy way of saying a second ball. He's actually won more than any other player in his entire squad. Most tackles won with 18, most interceptions with 25. So if it weren't Milo Rashica, if it weren't Matthias Norman, it would be Grant Hanley. That's all I would say. It would be Grant Hanley, but that's not really saying much. It really isn't saying much. But how do Norwich attack? We will break this down, everybody. And the first way that I do see them attacking is through Timo Pukki's movement. Timo Pukki's movement is extremely intelligent, everybody. At the end of the day, you kind of have to respect this guy's, kind of ability at his age, to find the spaces where, it's almost like he's almost a really like a poor man Sergio Aguero. He really is. And that's being way too nice to him. I mean, Timo Pukki should probably thank me that, for that sort of consideration, that sort of compliment. He actually should thank me for it. I mean, genuinely, like, but he's kind of like a poor man Sergio Aguero. He has fantastic movement, fantastic intelligence of movement. So you can easily see his kind of movement, taking his space. This is a moment basically when we're trying to do a bit of kind of 1-2 inside the middle of the park, and we basically just find it so that we're moving things a bit too quickly, kind of put too many men forward. And basically what happens here is that we attempt a bit of short link up play in the middle and commit too many men forward. Billy Gilmore picks it up and finds Max Aarons, kind of making an inside run to the middle of the park. He first times it to Timo Pukki through the lines there. We're just going to show it a few more times for Akuva. Keep score for me. So, this is going to be basketball scores with how much I'm letting them score here. But it is going to be Max Aarons threading him through here. You can see kind of the movement of Timo Pukki. Just keep your eye on him. Everybody kind of fakes out Dyer here and just basically then just kind of outruns him, paces him in behind, and then is able to finish it past threes. Basically, all just comes from kind of committing too many men forward in this position, kind of getting a bit caught out in some of these moments. And then we just, they use the movement of Pukki. They use the movement of, other players like Max Aarons to be able to thread him in behind. It's not too complicated. It really isn't. It's actually quite more of a simple goal than the other ones we'll be looking at. But there you are, everybody. There you are. True Sets Free saying Grant Hanley covering Kane or Sonny. I mean, it will be a nightmare for him. It will be a nightmare for him, my man. It certainly will. Hanley was one of the worst defenders to ever play in Premier League. Bloody useless. I think he is. I think he is useless. This is the thing, though. I ran out of my two other unsung heroes. The unsung hero is like somebody that you're probably thinking when it comes to the Norwich side that isn't somebody that gets a lot of respect. And I think Milo Rashica was going to be one of them. I think then Norman, that Norwegian midfielder, is going to be other, but they're both going to be missing for this match. So genuinely, it's kind of running out of options. It really is running out of options. Played well for Scotland, gets England. There you are. But like I said, everybody, it's not a big surprise. It really isn't a big surprise because seriously, the guy, he's my third option for unsung midfielders. It really was. Bob Spirit, thank you everyone in the chat for all the love and support. Big love, Jack. Big love to you, Bob, and everybody. Like I said, head on over to GoFundMe. I believe at the time, Bob, I was just trying to make it an even number. I think it was at, forget what it was. I mean, I was trying to get it to whatever the 2,000 mark, I put it in a nice, cheeky, donation to just make it an even numbers, being a stats guy myself, just wanted to see it be an even number. And then by the end of the show, it got over. So like I said to everybody, for Bob's GoFundMe, which you will probably find on his social medias and everything, I don't have the link at the moment. But I would say everybody, for Bob's GoFundMe, it's so easy that I was midstream and I was able to donate to it. So Bob, like I said, I can't imagine what you're going through. I really can't. I mean, I can't even empathize with it. I don't know what it really will be like. I don't know what it's like, but I'll try to sympathize. And the best way I could sympathize is helping you out in whatever way I can. But pick yourself up, Bob. All love to you, brother. All love to you. Dripsy saying Max Aarons was only added to FIFA and FIFA 18. I think he was talking about a different Max Aarons or a different Aarons. Almost have 5K subs. Let's get over to 5K. Big it up. Hit me up when you're ready. I'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you, Lazy 8. I'll be seeing you then. I'll be seeing you. I'm probably going to make a bit of wings tonight. Maybe we can just, hang out, that way. But, trust me, I'd head over to Park Slope, come over down to Crown Heights, my man. Come over down to Crown Heights, or maybe we hit up Park Slope. Chris Ackenbar saying, big up, Jack. 73 people watching and only 36 hit those likes, people. Big up yourself, Chris. Big yourself up. And also thanks for keeping the people accountable. I really do, my man. Really appreciate it. Sess is just suspended for the Rens game. Oh, Dark Sun G, we're gonna have to find a solution. Dark Sun G. This is why I need you here, Dark. This is why I need you, my man. This is why I need you. We're gonna have to find a solution. We really are. That's rough. That is rough. I didn't think about it that way. That is rough. Just making sure I'm not missing every comments. Everybody, really am. Might as well maybe just leave this up for you guys, just so you can watch us, get scored on maybe a bit more. I do apologize. Everybody, just wishing love to Bob. Like I said, everybody, help Bob out during this time. Really help him out during this time. I'm just going to take another sip of water. Carl Simpson, thank you for joining us. Say much love, Bob. But like I said, everybody, help out Bob during this time. I couldn't imagine dealing with as much loss as he had. I really couldn't. Genuinely don't know what it's like. I really don't. So really, whatever way you can help them, please, please do. Mark Swift saying hit that like and sub, so and you can super chat too. Like I said, Mark Swift, like I said, holding the people accountable. Big yourself up, Mark. And the reason being is because if you do want to stop me at any sort of point, you just want to get me, talking about whatever you're thinking about, whatever you kind of want to talk about, regarding the stats, regarding, kind of the tactics or anything, feel free to do so in a super chat. It really does help support the channel, really helps support David and I on our dream, but as well, it just kind of keeps me, going from kind of, being an absolute motor mouth, which is basically the show that this is, kind of sit back, relax, watch me be a motor mouth. True Sets Free saying Pookie is a poor man's Landon Donovan. I mean, I think that's being kind to Landon Donovan at the end of the day. I kind of despise Landon Donovan because that guy was just so overly praised by Americans. I just don't know why that guy was so overly praised. He's a failed American, European reject. He was shit. Like, he was just shit at the end of the day. He really was. Poor man's Aguero. That's not poor. That's the equivalent of owning more than the USA's national debt. Cuba 99. Yeah, I mean, what is a poor man's Aguero? Probably world class striker because Aguero was more than a world class striker. So you're probably right. You're probably right, my man. Honestly, really like that. Really like that. Really do appreciate that, my man. But we move on to the next sort of. And Kuva, hopefully you're keeping score because the moment is probably is like 93-0 right now from watching these, animations. We are going to move on to, Aaron's delivery. And, like we said, everybody, the most progressive carries, the most carries into the final third, the most crosses completed into the penalty area, the most passes completed into the area, the most goal creating actions as well. So seriously, guys, like this is somebody that is absolutely dangerous when it comes to any sort of chance created. He really is. In this moment, it really is us just kind of feeling a bit of the pressure from kind of, a bit of a, route one approach. What happens is that Gibson wins the header. It could be Hanley, maybe Hanley wins the header because he does have, some of the most headers won in the entire Norwich side. But it would be basically Sanchez going a bit route one to like Sonny or Harry Kane. Gibson wins it and then plays it to Gilmore, who finds Aaron's, and then Aaron's, who has the most players dribble past as well, skins Region, or at least creates a bit of space past Region, and finds Todd Cantwell making a run across the six. What happens also as well here is that Sanchez does lose his marker, and I wouldn't be surprised if this were to happen. You can see Cantwell, it kind of gets Dyer and Sanchez mixed up here, and basically just gets across his marker and is able to find a bit of space to tap it home on the near post. Again, Max Aarons, the most players dribble past, the most carries into the final third, the most targeted player as well, the most targeted player in the entire Norwich side. So basically anything that is going to be some sort of goal created, anything that is going to be some sort of shot created is very likely to come through Max Aarons. And that's what you're seeing here, everybody. We go for a bit of route one approach. They're sitting in a very deep shape, but they break from there using, kind of the skill and pace of someone like Max Aarons. And like I said before, Todd Cantwell just kind of loses his marker. Todd Cantwell kind of steps in front of Davinson Sanchez. And Davinson Sanchez, if anybody's going to lose his marker, it is going to be Davinson Sanchez. So is this one realistic? I think this one's probably going to be the most realistic, if you ask me, everybody. I think it's probably the most realistic. So, if this goal were to happen, I kind of do, unfortunately, see it happening if we were to concede. But just making sure I'm not missing any comments, everybody. Really appreciate it, Mark. Really do appreciate it, my man. Dark Sun G saying the heavens might be helping us. Brighton got an injury and Duncan Trossard, according to the Premier League injuries. Let's see if they will be out until after we play them next week. Maybe we could see Cess today. We could use Cess today. That's not a bad shout, actually, Darkson G. Let's break this down, everybody. I was watching that Brighton match. I did not see Lewis Dunk get injured, mostly because I had my head down, the whole time, just kind of preparing for stats with Jack. But in terms of Trossard, that is quite interesting because I saw him get pulled out on a stretcher. It didn't seem like the most serious of injuries. He just kind of had his elbow stepped on. I don't know what to make of it. He just had his elbow stepped on. But it seemed like he needed to be kind of stretchered off for that one. And that is a bit of a worry because that is one of their best goal creators when you think about it. That is one of their best kind of, creative kind of forwards. Also one of their most lethal forwards, apart from Mopai. But I mean, genuinely, those guys, at Brighton, they miss sitters for a living over there. They do miss sitters for a living. So that is maybe a good sign. I believe as well, Shane Duffy, Dark Sun G, I'm about to stat you right here. I'm about to stat you. I believe Shane Duffy is actually going to be missing that match for Brighton for accumulating too many yellow cards. So they're going to be really missing defenders for this one. They really are going to be missing defenders for that one. So that is a great sign. That is a great sign for us. And also, no more Ben Scheidt over there. So really, they just genuinely, like, I'm actually looking forward to this Brighton fixture. I think it's actually quite set up for us. It really is kind of similar to how this Norwich, match is a bit set up for us with no Matthias Norman and no Milo Rashica. A bit set up for us. A bit set up for this. But big yourself up. Dark Sun G. And also, thank you very much for the big one, my man. I could not agree more. And I would like to see Sessegnon, maybe use. Maybe that's not a bad shout. If we were to give a rest to anyone, maybe you give it to Region. I would say you just pull Region off nice and early, let him play 45 minutes, and then pull him off in the second half, or we're up 1-0 or 2-0. That's what I would do, personally, Dark Sun G. Hopefully, maybe you agree with that one. Let me know if you don't. Let me know if you do. But big yourself up, man. Also, really appreciate the big one, my man. Absolute legend. Adil Bukhari, absolutely beautiful name, saying, "What's up, Jack? Let's get this win tomorrow." We absolutely are, my man. And this is why you're watching this show, because we are going to be getting that win tomorrow. Vince Vega saying Norwich have Aaron's, but we have Son. Big yourself up, Vince Vega. I could not agree more. Paul Markey saying, and I really respect Paul Markey's opinion, and he's saying right here, Jack, Aaron's is totally overrated. Why has no one come in for him? He's bang ordinary. Fascinating, Paul. That's fascinating. Maybe, I guess the team that wanted him at one stage was, Barcelona, but they had to pay too much money for him. And then no one else wanted to pay for him because, the English tax, and, he's one of their better players. So I'd love to agree with you maybe that he's a bit overrated. I don't think he's underrated. Do I think he's overrated? Possibly not. So he's maybe just rated. If you ask me, I think he's just rated. I think he's well rated. But probably potentially, I kind of see where you're coming from, because I think at least when it came to the prices that they were asking for the guy, genuinely way too much. But big yourself up, Paul Markey. Really big yourself up. Todd Cantwell supposedly is fit. I've seen him included in a lot of predicted lineups. True Sets Free saying, how can Spurs beat Norwich? Just shows up with shoes on. I mean, genuinely, I think that's like connecting to what Sean Snow was saying earlier. Truth. I mean, I guess all we have to do is just show up with 11 players and be able to beat Norwich. I'd like to think that it wouldn't be that easy. I really do. But hopefully it could be that easy. I'm just going to let these play this last animation, like I said, with Aaron's for a while, maybe. People, I'm just catching up with some of these comments here. Killian Kenny's, wish yourself a good night, my man. I really do apologize you're not able to see the match, my man. That really does suck. But hopefully you can just at least sit on the couch and enjoy it. Aaron's is in for a nightmare. Son is going to bury him. And Region is going down that side as well, Carl. So don't you forget that. Joseph Thomas saying, big up, Jack. Left these streams. Really appreciate it, Joseph. Big yourself up. And honestly, I love doing these streams, my man. I love doing them myself. John Fitzpatrick saying, is David coming on, Jack? David is enjoying a bit of a celebration with the sister. I think it's his sister's birthday for this one. And also David has been covering for me for some time, John. So might as well cover for him. This is already kind of the show that I run myself for basically the most part anyway. So I am fully capable of being able to run it solo. It's kind of a bit more fun sometimes to run it solo. It's a bit harder and whatnot. But David needed a night off. He really did need a night off from covering for me for a long time as well. I do believe it is his sister's birthday and he is out celebrating that, John. So that is your answer, my man. And King Hoddle saying, I take Lamptey over Aaron's any day. Good shout, my man. Very, very, very good shout. I kind of like where your head's at on that one. David Clark is joining us saying Spurs 4-1. Dyer's son, brace from Son, and a Kane penalty. A Kane penalty would be great because Tim Krul is actually good at saving penalties. So that would actually be spectacular to watch. Brighton are average, bro. We should be turning them over. No excuses. I mean, generally, the way they played against Southampton, they were lucky to get a point from that one. So lucky to get a point. Mark Swift saying you can all sub to flatcapeurotalk. Everybody, please head on over to flatcapeurotalk if you enjoy anything that I've had to say tonight. It really would be greatly appreciated. I mean, over at flatcapeurotalk, we do basically talk anything that has to do with fixing Spurs, anything that has to do with kind of like, getting a bit of Spurs therapy. Like, do you want that Kessié player in? Do you want that somebody that can be able to fix Spurs, to maybe solve all our problems? You head on over there. I'm just going to put the link in really quickly in case anybody needs to head on over there and sub. But big yourself up, Mark Swift. I actually really appreciate that, my man. Dark Sun G saying Skip will eat Gilmore alive. Skip is a brick wall. He's more than a brick wall, man. He's an absolute cement. He's made of cement. He's made of concrete. Skip is. He's not even made of bricks. He's made of concrete. I mean, I'm actually quite worried, for Norwich because that was their best player basically last season, apart from maybe Buendia. That was their best player last season, Ollie Skip. And also Norwich fans, I know, really do miss the guy. I think Billy Gilmore is kind of an I don't know. It's just not the right replacement. Not the right replacement. A very different sort of player than maybe Ollie Skip was for them. Skippy is just more of a hard man. He's more of a better man for them. I really do feel like so. I think I don't know. They're just not ready. They're just not ready, Dark Sunday, because Skip is going to run them riot. He's going to run them riot. Um, John Fitzpatrick says, "Did you see Pope's mistake? Don't want him at Spurs. No way. I did not see it. I'll take a look at it, John. Because if any of the English keepers that I would probably take would have been maybe him. Would have been maybe him over Sam Johnston or Pickford. So I'll take a look at it. I'll take a look at it. He's horrible with his feet. He's horrible with his feet, though. He is horrible with his feet. Vince Vega, thank you very much. And honestly, David deserves it. Getting rid of Gio and Ndombele needs to be a priority. Can't see either of them getting into the team and staying there for the rest of the season. We could spend that money on an inter raid. I love your thinking, Simon. I absolutely love your thinking, especially Gio and Tanguy. As much as I kind of like Tanguy, I'm just tired of giving that guy excuses. I really am. I'm just kind of sick of him at this rate. Just genuinely just sick of the guy. So I kind of like where your head's at on that one. I really do like where your head's at on that one, my man. Todd Cantwell vision is going to be our next and final threat for Norwich, everybody. It is going to be our next and final threat. We can go through this one a bit quickly because I don't see it being very likely. This one, I feel like the Max Aarons goal and the Timo Pukki goal are probably the most likely one. But this is just going to be kind of, Norwich kind of using their width through Brandon Williams and finding Todd Cantwell. Todd Cantwell kind of cuts inside, kind of skins Sanchez here, and then finds, Timo Pukki, who tries to, chip it or kind of just hit it past the likes of, Lloris there. With this one, everybody, I feel like it's probably the least, they scored the fewest goals this season. So to kind of create goals for Norwich, via open play is very difficult. It's very difficult to kind of imagine goals for this team because they haven't scored a lot of goals, this team. And, the most likely goals you might see would have come from a set piece or would have come from a free kick. But then again, Matthias Norman and Milo Rashica are gone. Milo Rashica is kind of their free kick taker. And he's actually decent at free kicks, but so really just them scoring a goal, it's going to come through Timo Pukki or it's going to come through Max Aarons, if you ask me. And maybe if Todd Cantwell is fit for this one, if he's willing to play, I could see him maybe creating something in the middle, maybe with a bit of link up play with the likes of Timo Pukki. So this is kind of the final and last kind of threat potentially for Norwich, everybody. So hopefully you kind of agree with some of these threats. Like I said, the Max Aarons one is the most likely. The Timo Pukki one is the probably second most likely, or kind of vice versa. But this one, I don't have too much confidence with. It's just kind of one that I just feel like, is potentially, when to fill out the third one with. I kind of struggle with, finding the third, potential threat for Norwich to be able to hurt us. So like I said, everybody, if you have any threats yourselves, if there are any players in the Norwich side that you rate, feel free to throw it in a super chat. Feel free to throw it in a comment and I'll try to get to it best I can. But we will move on to maybe how Norwich defend, everybody. We will move on to how Norwich defend. They do defend, everybody, in a 4-1-4-1 sort of shape, now with Dean Smith on the side. And with that 4-1-4 shape, it makes it very difficult to play inside their box. They almost always have 4, if not 5 players in their box at certain times. So it is kind of hard to make those intricate kind of passings in the box. Like, especially against Newcastle, they had to make lots of shots outside the box. I apologize, everybody. You need to actually bring this on screen. They do need to, or any team that comes up against Norwich needs to find ways to, maybe take shots from outside the box. Hopefully, somebody like Harry Kane or a Sonny, or even a Højbjerg maybe, can take a crack from outside the box in this one, because they do kind of force you to maybe make shots from outside their box. They kind of just clog up all those lanes. In that 4-1-4 shape, you can kind of see right there, Billy Gilmore, very hardworking center midfielder. The German midfielder Rupp is a very hardworking midfielder as well. And then McLean is also a very hardworking midfielder. They're not very good creatively going forward, so they will kind of work more on the defensive side of things. And then Todd Cantwell and Josh Sargent will drop deep and will kind of, form that kind of, solid base in that midfield and make it very difficult to kind of penetrate those lines in that midfield. What the problem is with this is that it makes it difficult to kind of play through the middle. They're kind of forcing you out wide. And then when they're forcing you out wide, they still have players like Josh Sargent and Todd Cantwell there to kind of meet you along with their fullbacks of Brandon Williams and Max Aaron. So it just makes it very difficult, really, in general. But the same, that's just Dean Smith, though. Dean Smith is a very pragmatic manager. He focuses more on the defense than he does on the attack. So genuinely, I'm not actually that worried about them going forward. I'm worried about them breaking forward. I'm worried about them countering us in this sort of shape, but I'm not really too worried because we did find space against them in their 5-3-2. This is his new version of a 4-1-4-1. Brandon Williams and Max Aarons will drop deep as well as get forward. Josh Sargent and Todd Cantwell will drop deep and go forward. Lucas Rupp, Gilmore, as well as McLean will then kind of form that kind of 3-man strong midfield. None of them are very good going forward, so that just means it's kind of a hardworking 3-man midfield, a bit similar to kind of Watford with that Kuchka and Sissoko kind of setup. And then Tumi Puki is kind of left to, be the one to roam around and do the pressing up there. But their fullbacks are actually more likely to break forward than their midfielders, and that must be said. So Williams and Aarons are more likely to kind of carry the ball forward than the likes of McLean or Gilmore. And also, like I said before, and I will emphasize this, they do have 3 very hardworking midfielders. And so they will sit in a very deep shape and will kind of try to hurt you from there. They will try to hurt you from there. But hopefully you kind of guys enjoyed this kind of breakdown of Norwich's defense. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this. Let me know if you agree or disagree with it. But we will move on to how maybe Spurs can win this game. Finally, we can kind of get it over talking about Norwich. Maybe I talked about them a bit too long, if you ask me. But Spurs 72 with a super chat saying, we should be snapping up Todd Cantwell, Jack. He has vision, and plus, I love him. He's actual depth. Winks is not. I mean, he plays a very different position to Todd Cantwell does than Harry Winks. But I mean, genuinely, I wouldn't be disappointed with having him. I feel like he could be maybe an upgrade on someone like Steven Bergwijn, if you ask me. I think he'd be a bit of an upgrade there. Can he fit into an Antonio Conte side? Hard to say. Maybe he could play centrally. Todd Cantwell. But I don't know. It's hard to find a spot for him in this Antonio Conte side. It's hard to find a spot for him in the 3 in the back formation, if you ask me, Spurs 72. But I like that you're a fan of him. I actually do rate his vision, and that's why I included that in that threat. That's why I included that in that animation of his, because I feel like if anything were to happen, I do kind of rate his vision. I do kind of rate his ability to play him between the lines. I do kind of rate his ability to find someone like Timo Pukki. So I'm totally with you, Spurs 72. And I feel like he would be actually decent depth for this side. He would actually be very decent depth comparison to someone like a Harry Winks. So Spurs 72, just want to big yourself up. And I could not agree more, my man. I really could not agree more. Really well said, my man. Really appreciate you, brother. Absolutely appreciate you. And if you want to follow in Spurs 72's footsteps and, throw in a super chat to stop me at any point on this mumbling run, feel free to do so in a super chat like Spurs 72 does. It goes a long way at helping the channel with David and I. It goes a long way as well. And, just, kind of keeping us, kind of motivated and helping us kind of achieve this dream of ours, as well as, like I said, just stopping me from kind of mumbling the whole time. So big yourself up, Spurs 72. Wayne Bonner saying, what are Norwich like defending corners? I'm actually not too aware that I'm not aware of their set piece defending abilities. All I can say is Grant Hanley is their best player in the air. Ben Gibson is not too poor either at defending, headers. I believe Otsan Kabak has received some sort of injury over there, so he's not going to be there. In terms of I think McLean is also not too bad at defending headers. I feel like this is the problem though, like Wayne Bonner, this is my answer. I believe Spurs and Manchester United are the only squads this season. This is a big stat right here. I believe they're the only squads this season that have yet to score from a corner this season. So you kind of go the other way around with that sort of question. Like, what's our ability to score against anybody on a corner? That's, genuinely. So I don't know. It's a great question, Wayne, but I would kind of counter it with my answer of, Spurs have yet to do anything from a corner this season. So, it's it just has to do with our lack of ability to be able to score anything from corners. And no matter how poor a team is at defending corners, our lack of ability to be able to score from a corner is pretty dismal. It's really dismal. But great question, Wayne. Great question, man. And honestly, great comment as well, Spurs 72. And like I said, if anybody wants to follow in the footsteps of Dark Sun G, Spurs 72, or Wayne Bonner, and feel and asking me to stop at any point, feel free to do so, my man. Feel free to do so. Let's move on, though. Let's move on to maybe Spurs can win this game, everybody. Let's move on to how they can win this game. These are kind of the areas that I feel like we can penetrate. Spurs should have plenty of the ball this match. I mean, Norwich, everybody, they struggled to keep possession against Wolves. They struggled to keep possession against Southampton. The only match where they dominated possession was against a 10-man Newcastle, and they barely they struggled to score against a 10-man Newcastle. So I feel like this is a team that sits very deep. This is a team that sits very pragmatically. So these positions in between that 4-man midfield, that 5-man midfield practically, and that back four are the areas where we can hurt them. It's just the problem is like getting it in there. But I feel like we are capable of doing it. We are capable of moving the ball quickly enough, moving the ball intricately enough to be able to do so. So we should find those positions in between the center backs and the center mids and distribute it in there well. If we find those positions for our front three, if our players in the front three are picking the balls up in those areas between that back four and that kind of midfield five, we will have recipe for success right there. Ben Davies and Sanchez are the two players that kind of carry the ball forward in the side. Without Romero anymore, we're kind of relying on someone like a Ben Davies or a Sanchez to carry the ball forward. They're going to have to be on their game, especially because we're going to be playing with lots of the ball for this match. So they're going to have to be on it. It's not going to be them defending very much. It's going to be them kind of distributing and carrying the ball. We do need to pick up pockets of space in between Norwich's midfield and back four in order to win this match. So there you are, everybody. It really does rely on us, Højbjerg as well as Skippy and kind of Davies and Sanchez to really help link up the play for this one. So hopefully you can kind of agree with me on this one. Hopefully you agree with me on that. But let's move into what the Spurs predicted lineup is. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water, a quick sip of soda. Really quick for this one. Been kind of motor mouthing. So there you are, everybody. That is my predicted lineup. 3-4-3 for this one. The big difference is I feel like there needs to be squad rotation. There needs to be squad management in this one. There needs to be game management for this one. And that could come through Sessegnon coming on for Reguilón. I think that needs to happen. Sessegnon coming on for Reguilón, considering Sessegnon won't be able to even play in that Rennes match. Maybe a Tanguy Ndombele or a Harry Winks coming on for skipper Højbjerg. Potentially Steven Bergwijn or Brian Hill coming on for Lucas, Sonny, or Kane. Those would be kind of the changes I would make. It's more about game management. It's more about squad management. I think you keep the same starting lineup to kind of keep the momentum, keep the positivity, keep the confidence going. But it's all about, doing a bit of squad management after that. That's how I feel about it personally, everybody. So hopefully you agree with me on that. This is going to be our key player, as it always will be until maybe things change, because Sonny has been our most key player. But everybody, I'm just going to get through the comments really quickly, just making sure I'm not missing anything. PSG ended the game 1-1 according to Shamu. That is absolutely fascinating. Atalanta Napoli was a cracking game, finished 3-2. That sounds like a cracking game, and I knew about it at M. Let me know if you watched their Klassiker at M. That was also a cracking game between Bayern and Borussia Dortmund. Honestly, great games going on this weekend. Unfortunately, when it comes to Saturdays, I kind of prepare all day for Stats with Jack, so it's very hard for me to be able to watch some of these fantastic games. MS saying, evening, why are we relegated to 2 p.m.? Every Sunday? I don't know. I can't explain it. I can't explain it, MS. I'd like to be the later game. I really would, because then I'd be able to join the preview tomorrow. And everybody, if you want to hit up that preview tomorrow, it is going to be happening at 10 a.m. UK time, 10 a.m. GMT time tomorrow. That would be around 5 a.m. New York time. So that is a bit of a struggle for me. I probably won't be there for that one. But David will be running the panel as he usually does. But MS, big yourself up, my brother. Absolutely. Aglaya saying, or Ellie saying, going to meet Phil Latis tomorrow. So looking forward to going to the pre-match pump up with the fabulous David, Irish Hotspur. Big yourself up, Ellie. And also you enjoy yourself. You enjoy yourself. The Bayern game was class. I mean, it really was class. Honestly, it was real enjoyment. Sonny, though, he is our key player for this one. He has the most shot creating actions, which is basically a fancy way of saying, like chances created, or a fancy way of just saying like any sort of shot that happens at all. He has the most shot creating actions with 35, the most shot creating actions per 90 as well with 3.01, the most key passes. And a key pass, everybody, is kind of another way of looking at kind of a chance created. A key pass is like something that sort of leads to the development of a chance, leads to the development of a goal. And he has the most in our entire side with 18, the most goals in the Premier League in our side as well with 5, the most carries into the penalty area, which is one of my favorite stats with 15, the most progressive carries, or most everybody, most progressive passes received in this one with 89, the most progressive passes received. That is a pass of 10 yards or more, and he has received the most in this entire Spurs squad with 89. And he has the second most players skinned, or the second most players dribble pass with 23. I believe Lucas has the most when it comes to our squad, but that it is. I mean, like always, everybody, Sonny will continue to be the most key player until somebody replaces him, because at the moment, Sonny is our most key player. He is the one that, is just absolutely, just vital. He is vital. He is Mr. Reliable. He is the man that we need to rely on. And Dark Sun G, this is why I need you again for the Stats with Jack, because you can help me out on just adding a bit of nuance to just why Sonny is so brilliant for us, really. But our unsung hero is going to be Sergei Reguilon. Sergei Reguilon deserves a bit of respect, everybody. The most goal-creating actions. I mean, you don't need to think about it any other way. The most goal-creating actions in our side with 5, and he leads by a heavy margin when it comes to that stat. The most assists in the Premier League in our side as well with 3, the most passes into the penalty area, the most completed passes into the penalty area with 16, and the most crosses into the penalty area. And I am not kidding. He what is it like? Does I don't know, how do you say, like, whatever 12 times whatever, to say a fancy word for 12 times something. He is 12 times the second highest person when it comes to the stat in terms of crosses completed into the penalty area. He has 12. That is like more than triple, more than quadruple, more than quintuple, more than sextuple, or whatever it is, than anybody else in the side. So there it is, everybody, with 12 crosses completed into the penalty area. Most interceptions with 31, and that's a fantastic stat. So anybody that is Reguilon's best attribute defensively, no, but has he improved a lot defensively this year? Yes. And that is because he's had 31 interceptions, the most interceptions in our entire squad. He's very aggressive when it comes to trying to intercept the ball. The third most carries into the final third with 19. That is very impressive, considering someone like, a Højbjerg or like a Lucas or a Sonny would probably be very good at that sort of stat. And yet he still ranks third in our squad when it comes to that. And he has the third most tackles and interceptions combined with 52. The players that lead above that, everybody, just in case you wanted to know, Højbjerg and Emerson. So a bit of respect on Emerson's name as well. He is second in the most tackles and interceptions combined already in our entire squad. So there you are, everybody. Unsung hero is going to be Reguilon, like always. Put a bit of respect on Reguilon's name. Just going to go through the comments, everybody, just quickly, just making sure I'm not going to miss anything. Again, I'm going to take a quick sip of the soda. But do appreciate everybody for tuning in for this one. Spurs 72 saying we dodged a bullet with Max Aarons. I think never rated him. Myself, more people kind of saying that Max Aarons is a bit overrated. Very fascinating. How relegated MS. Big yourself up, John. Really appreciate you, my man. Simon saying, my worry, as it always is currently, is where did the goals come from? Kane is our bread and butter, but he isn't scoring, and we have defensive midfielders who are going to struggle to chip in. Very true. Very true, especially when you're playing a pragmatic side as well, Simon. Especially when playing a pragmatic side, it is a bit of a worry. I have to wake up at 6 a.m. to watch this game. Alejandro Perez, I can tell then you're on the West Coast. I'm originally from Seattle, Alejandro. So, when I was taking some time off over there to see my family, who I haven't seen in over a year, I was watching the games, and that's what I had to go through. That's what I had to go through going up to watch Spurs. I had to get up at like 4 a.m. for a lot of matches. So you know what it's like, Alejandro. It's fucking rough. It's rough. Um, it's because we were playing conference league, bro. We play on Sunday every Sunday. Yeah, that's because of the conference league. Exactly, John. Um, Great analysis on Norwich. Thank you very much, Vince Vega. I really do appreciate it. I will say it's not a team that I do enjoy analyzing. Very, very boring team to analyze, but it's part of the job. Doesn't the amount Garrett saying pentuple? What a genius! Honestly, you're an absolute genius. MS saying take a bow. Reggie plays with a smile too. Reggie most improved player this season. That is a fantastic shout, John. That is a fantastic shout. Probably the most improved player this season, actually, when you think about it, especially considering like his, kind of performances last season. He wasn't even that great going forward last season. He was not good at all, really, defensively last season. He's improved defensively. He's really improved going forward this season. John, that is a fantastic shot, my man. And also really appreciate it, Gareth. Really, really do appreciate it, my man. Regs is massive for us. I mean, when you think about it, everybody, the most goals come from Sonny, who's on the left-hand side. The most assists have come from Reggie on that side. The most goal-creating actions have come from Reggie on the left-hand side. The most shot-creating actions have come from Sonny on that left-hand side. So the most lethal side of Spurs is on the left-hand side. So anybody that is defending on that left-hand side for us, I mean, good luck to them. Good luck for them. Do a decouple is the word you want, Jack. I mean, I've heard it's the pentuple, though. I've heard it's the pentuple, my man. Maybe that's actually what we're going to be winning this season, though, is the do a decouple. That's what we're going to be winning. We're going to be winning that many trophies, Kuva. We're going to be winning that many trophies. 27 losses, 1 draw, and 2 wins for FC Sputnik. Rashid's got Jack. Spurs 5-0. Toxic Headshot. Thank you for joining us. I have to get up for 5. Jesus. I mean, Omari, I apologize, my man. But keep it up. I got to go, Jack, but keep it up, man. Love the stats, and let's get that W tomorrow. Big yourself up, Spurs 72. We're getting that W for you tomorrow. We're getting all them 3 points. We're going to be eating it all up. Canaries for breakfast, everybody. Canaries for breakfast tomorrow. But Spurs 72, really appreciate the support. Really appreciate all the donations. Really appreciate just the love. Really just appreciate you in general. My Thanksgiving was fantastic. Thank you very much, Ellie. It was fantastic. Like I said, I hadn't seen my parents in over a year. So it was lovely to be able to be back at home and be able to enjoy Thanksgiving and whatnot with them. Seriously, I hadn't seen them in over a year. But Reggie just needed time to settle in England. He's going to be a baller. Finally, we replaced Danny Rose. I mean, Danny Rose was unbelievable for us, though, John. So if he even gets close to Danny Rose's level, at, when Danny Rose is at his prime, I mean, that would be spectacular. That would be spectacular. But let's move on, everybody. Let's move on. We are going to move on to how do Tottenham's attack, and we are going to go to our threats. We're going to go to the Spurs animations. I'm going to let these run on repeat with Lucas dribbling. Like, this is kind of a version of kind of another title for what I've said before with Lucas kind of creating chaos. Like Lucas, he just creates chaos in the middle. Like he skins multiple men. All he wants to do is just cut inside with that right foot. And I will say, there's no player I have ever seen who is a right-footed player on the right wing cut inside more efficiently and better than Lucas. Like, most players that cut inside into the middle of the pitch from the right-hand side are usually left-footed players, yet he does it with his right foot, which is just, to all the Lucas Morris sexuals out there, I will say, I see where you're coming from, because it is spectacular to watch. And so this animation is going to be basically Lucas cutting inside with that right foot. It is a bit of kind of 1-2 play on here. And I know that dribble that you just saw from Lucas right there, we have seen 1,000 times. We have seen this 1,000 times. A bit of 1-2 action here. Lucas just basically dribbles into the middle, cuts past all of those midfielders, all those fullbacks, and he slips Harry Kane through. Harry Kane is being a bit kind of, tormented by his defenders here. He basically hits it to Sonny for kind of, a bit of a 1-2, a bit of a pass across the 6. Sonny just taps it home for this one. It's just going to let this run on repeat because it's a bit kind of fast build up for this one. But like I said, Lucas basically finds a way past his, markers. He just dribbles past all these guys, just creates chaos in the middle. There's no better person at creating chaos in the middle than Lucas Moura, in my opinion. I really do love how he's able to do exactly that dribble that you just saw right there. And, Harry Kane, he finds himself, kind of with the keeper there, but he's getting kind of hounded. He's getting kind of pulled on. He's getting his, kit pulled on. So he just squares it to Sonny, and that's, this goal for this one. So like I said, Lucas will skin past multiple defenders. and kind of drive through the middle and then just slip Harry Kane through. We saw this even against Mura. We've seen it in other matches as well. So it's not a really, it's actually very, very realistic goal when you think about it. It is an extremely realistic goal when you think about it. But seriously, I mean, that it is. There it is, everybody. There it is, everybody, for how maybe Lucas can maybe create things for us. Kuva99 saying, Jack, do you have any name for your Flat Caps minor, Emily, Lady K, and Tweety Pie? I have not yet named him that. One of them I would probably say, in this one, is because in the back I've sweated in it before. So probably this one is Greasy. And then maybe my black one. The black one is actually that I have is from Shamu. So I'll just call it Shamu. That's the Shamu flat cap right there. But honestly, I need to start naming them. I'm going to head on over to that site, though, the Ben Kaufman. I got a bit of a Christmas gift for David, though, from that site for the one that Ben Kaufman plugged, that he has absolutely class flat caps Ben Kaufman does. So I, went over to that site. I got a bit of a Christmas gift for David over there. So maybe, David will nickname that one. But Tweety Pie, I would say, is my favorite of one of those. Tweety Pie is my favorite of those nicknames, Kuva, and also really appreciate the support, my man. And also, I was thinking if Dark Sun G can join us, maybe next time, Kuva, maybe you and I maybe tag team this sort of, stats with Jack. Let me know if you're interested in that. I'm pretty sure you would be, but let me know if you're interested in that, my man. Jazz saying, seriously, your title, how can Spurs beat Norwich, is an insult for Tottenham. You guys should see them through. It is an insult, but I actually was going to say, how will Spurs beat Norwich? But then I was kind of thinking, if that doesn't happen, then I would have probably had a bit of egg on my face. But then again, find yourself, as a Man United fan, you are self Jazz. What if you said, how will Spurs beat Watford? And you didn't beat Watford. So if you were doing this show and you wrote, how will Spurs beat Watford? And then you ended up getting smacked by Watford, I mean, how much egg would be on your face? Let me ask you that, Jazz. But appreciate the support, my man. Hopefully you enjoyed this so far. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. Hopefully you're enjoying these animations. Hopefully you're enjoying all the stats. Hopefully you're enjoying all the tactical breakdown. Really appreciate the support. Really appreciate the donation. But the reason I didn't do how will Spurs beat Norwich is because, I would then say that in your case, like if you wrote how will Spurs beat Watford and then you guys got smacked. So I don't want to risk it. I kind of don't want to risk it. So, but big yourself up, Jazz. Big yourself up, Jazz. And I'm seeing Brian Daigle in the building. He's saying, yes, 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 Jack and Nikki. Thanks for coming on the two Brians last night. So sorry I had to leave. I hope everyone in the chat is well. I hope you are well, Brian Daigle. And I hope you got that needed sleep, because I will tell you, like, I couldn't tell that you needed the sleep. You just kind of said it, out loud. You were just like, I need the sleep. And I was like, Jesus, he's still coming in with this energy. He's still coming in with this firepower. But apparently he needs to sleep. The man just runs on energy. The man just runs like a nitro fuse can. So if you needed it, Brian, I couldn't tell. But, I hope you got those winks. Excuse me. I hope you got those, kind of those minutes of sleep. I can't believe I just said winks, but big yourself up, Brian Daigle. And also, it was an absolute pleasure. It's good to be home. Like I said, Mama, I'm coming home. And I was coming home to the two Brians last night. Really appreciate it, my man. Really appreciate it, my man. Honestly, absolute legend. Absolute legend he is. Jazz says, we beat your daddy Arsenal the other night, and I appreciate you for it, Jazz, and I appreciate you for it. Like I said, really appreciate the donations, but like I said, the only reason I didn't do how will Spurs beat Norwich is just because I don't want to have a bit of a Watford embarrassment. I don't want to have a bit of a Watford moment. I don't want people kind of slagging me for it. But like I said, Jazz, honestly, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for beating that Arsenal match. And I haven't watched the full 90 because I was taking a bit of time off, Jazz. So I wasn't able to watch that whole match. And I do want to watch that whole match just to see the tears, from the Arsenal. And also having Ralph Rangnick in, you guys are going to be setting things up. You're going to be pressing more. You're going to be having a bit more kind of, intricate play going forward. You're going to be playing way more progressively than you ever have before. And honestly, you should be happy to have Ralph Rangnick. He's also going to be running things behind the club as well. He's a great director of football. He's a great person to have at your club. I mean, you guys should be absolutely delighted. A fantastic appointment if you have me, Jazz. But thank you very much for the support, my man. Really appreciate it. Kuva99 saying defo up for the stats check. Anytime you need a wingman and David is on a day off, let me know. Although you do a great job solo, to be honest. Kuva, I appreciate it, my man, but sometimes it's just nice to have somebody kind of to relay off of, somebody to 1-2 off of, like some of these animations that are in front of us at the moment, Kuva. But big yourself up, my man. Like I said before, anybody that, like Dark Sun G or Kuva99 that does want to join me for one of those, I will take it into consideration because I do want to do these with people that come prepared like Kuva. Like I said, you and David absolutely boss stats with Jack. You absolutely bossed it yourself, Kuva. So, I noticed that, seeing the potential, for, a stats with Jack partner right there. So hopefully you and I can maybe partner like a bit of a Kane and a Sunny situation. So Kuva, like I said, like Dark Sun G out there as well. Want to see you come on for the show, and I would love to have you come on. I'm happy doing it myself at times. Doing it myself every time though it's hard. It is hard. Um, but I'm happy to do it by myself and enjoy doing it by myself. But I'd love to have someone join me. And Cuba99, if that would be you or Dark Sundry, I would be more than honored. I'd be more than honored. But anybody that wants to stop me at any moment in time, feel free to do it like Jazz just did. Feel free to do it like Cuba99 just did. Feel free to do it like MS Stitches, like Dark Sun G has, like Wayne Bonner has. It really does appreciate it. I do appreciate the support. It really does go a long way. It helps David and I achieve the dream, helps us kind of get the kind of the workload going. It helps us know that you guys are enjoying the show. It also helps me know that if you want me to stop at any sort of rate while I'm on this absolute motor mouth session, then you can help me stop. So there you are, everybody. There's no better reason to help support David and I, and also to help stop the show. If you feel like you need to stop the show, you just say, Jack, I need you to discuss what I'm thinking at this moment. You throw it in a super chat. It really does go a long way. I'll try to click on the comments as best I can. I'm really just trying to look through the comments and any ones that I feel like I really do, feel like I'm enjoying. But if I had someone alongside me, like a David or something, we would be able to bring up more on screen. So that just means if you want to skip that queue, feel free to throw it in a super chat like Kuva99 and Jazz have. But big yourself up, Kuva, and big yourself up, Jazz. Really do appreciate it. I'm just going to go through some of these comments right now again. And while I take another sip of the soda, everybody just bigging up Brian. Wayne Bonner saying Brian Diggle, a man whose passion keeps him going. I mean, he's, like I said, Wayne, I think if we don't get that backing in January from Daniel Levy, there will be a flight coming out of Toronto with a lot of Spurs fans like Brian Daigle. And I think myself, I'll just, take the flight to Toronto, then route it over to London with Brian Daigle. And that plane will be absolute vibes. And then the worst kind of vibes for Daniel Levy, like pitchfork and torches kind of vibes, pitchfork and torches kind of vibes. But Wayne Bonner, I mean, there's no better passion. There's no better sort of, realization, enlightenment when it comes to kind of inner workings and the wrongs that happen at Spurs than Brian Daigle. There's no better man. He is my knight in shining armor. He's my knight in shining armor. But big yourself up, Wayne. Just making sure. Connor, he's taking the time off with his sister. His sister is having a birthday. Also, this is my show. Connor, this is my show. This is the show that I run. So that's the reason he's gone. It's just because he's taking a bit of time off. Yeah, for the sister's birthday. It is her birthday tonight. He's celebrating it with her, as well as he's filled in for me during my time off, Connor. So. And this is also my show, as well. So, he's just taking the time off. I don't necessarily need David too much. I love to have him on for the show. Believe me, I love having him on for it, but it is kind of the show that I'm responsible for. So the show must go on, even if David can't join me for it. So Connor, that's where he is, celebrating the sister's birthday. But big yourself up, Connor. Really appreciate it. Jack is a mini Dave. I think I'm just, just try my best. Just try my best. Really appreciate it, Bob. Really do appreciate it, my man. But let's move on to the Harry Kane animation, everybody. The Harry Kane hold up play. It is going to be basically an exact copy of what we saw against Brentford. It is going to be an exact copy. It's going to be a bit of a route one approach, because what happens here is basically, we're getting a bit pressured by the likes of, of Norwich City. What happens is that, Timo Pukki, and others, they try to kind of like, block out some of our development of play in the back three. And so what Eric Dyer does is Eric Dyer basically just goes route one approach. He's just like, do you know what? I'm just going to hit it long to Harry Kane. Harry Kane chests it down. He tries to find Sonny there, but instead he sees Region. Region then plays it across across the six, across the 18 to Sonny, and then Sonny just taps it home. So it is a route one kind of goal of some sort, from Norwich basically just pressuring us a lot. And, it's basically my copy of basically what we saw against Brentford the other night. It's basically a copy of what we just saw. Hopefully you're kind of enjoying this. I know you've seen this before. It is honestly a pretty classic goal. If you ask me, it's a pretty classic goal. It really certainly is. And so I'm just going to let this go on repeat for a little bit while I'm just going through the comments just quickly. But again, everybody, really appreciate the support so far. Really do. It really does go a long way. And like I said, this is just an exact same um, rendition. It's an exact same copy of what we saw against Brentford the other night. It really certainly is. And it was a fantastic goal, if you ask me. It really was a beautiful goal. It's beautiful hold up play by Harry Kane. So that's what this goal is. It's just Harry Kane hold up play. Harry Kane chesting it down from a route one ball, from a route one kind of sort of approach from Eric Dyer here, and then just finding his man in behind. And then that be Region. Then Region finds Sonny. He actually, in a way, when you think about it, he had Sonny as well. But Harry Kane, goes for the more conservative approach, finds Region like he did against Brentford, and then Region just finds Sonny. He also, in a way, even if he misses Sonny here, he has Lucas. But that is our second sort of threat against Norwich City. The next one is going to be Reggie back post, and you've seen this analyzed lots of times where you have one winger or somebody or a fullback, going for the cross. What needs to happen in Conte's system is there needs to be another fullback at that back post. A great example of it that isn't Spurs related is Robin Gosens when you saw it at actually Germany in the Euros. What happened there is that you found that when they would overhit a cross, or the cross was deflected or missed, or maybe the clearance went wrong, you would find the fullback at the back post to actually tap it home. And this would be a great example of that, is where Reggie's at the back post from basically an overhit sort of cross from Emerson. Maybe Emerson's aiming for him in this one, but I'm trying to pretend as if like Emerson was trying to hit Sonny and Harry Kane, but he in fact overhits it and actually hits it to Region in the back post, which is just, still fine at the end of the day. So it is another way of getting a Reggie goal when you think about it. I think this is actually the most sexy goal, actually, when you think about it. It is a bit of build-up play here. Sonny is, kind of making a run across the six, and then Emerson finds him in the back post. You can also see here as well, a bit of 1-2 play where Emerson takes it forward, finds Lucas. Lucas plays him in behind. Emerson then just takes it down the byline and overhits the cross to Sonny and Kane. But in fact, Region is there at the back post in order to tap at home for us. I think it's a beautiful goal to watch. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one too. It is just, maybe a great opportunity to see Emerson get an assist for this club. And this could be the version of where him getting an assist might just come from, an overhit cross to Region, and then Region loses his marker and finds or Emerson, loses his marker and then finds, Region kind of lurking at the back post here. And I think it's actually quite realistic, because we saw that, against Everton as well, where Emerson almost scored from being at the back post from across as well. And it's actually quite realistic when you think about it. It is quite realistic, but hopefully you enjoyed this one, everybody. This is, again, another sort of goal that Spurs can score, but this is the last animation of the night, everybody. VAR checking my animated goals. I mean, seriously, they better be making the runs, because that's on me. I think if you're talking about the Sonny one, it wasn't offside. You go back to it, it actually wasn't offside. I made sure he wasn't offside. Just looks like he's offside because Sonny's that quick. But, he ran after the ball was played, Thomas. He ran after the ball was played, and he was behind the ball. He's also level with Henley for that one. But, really appreciate it. I like the banter, my mate. I like the banter. Thanks for the incredible comments, guys. And Jack and Nick, if you were on that flight, me sitting in economy will feel better than first class. I mean, first class is, I've never sat in first class my entire life, Brian. I kind of would rather not, if you ask me, because the vibes are absolutely better. And in the economy. Kaniki TV tonight, really appreciate it. Shamu, Levy must have a contact in the airlines to know when Brian comes into the country. No, he doesn't, my man. No, he doesn't. He's not that clever. He's not that clever. He really isn't. Just making sure. Classic Conte goal. Seriously, I think it kind of is. I'm trying to replicate it here. I'm trying to replicate it. Hit that like and super chat too if you can, all to, and also sub to Tottenham on Tour. Absolutely head on over to Tottenham on Tour, everybody. Head on over there. Like you said, if you want to see also David and I chatting with the two Brians, head on over there. It's a great channel, a channel we absolutely worship. But big up Mark Swift. Really appreciate the support. Uh, they're still checking it. They're still checking at MS, but I'm pretty positive it wasn't offside. I tried to make it my best, so it wasn't offside. But there you are, everybody. Like I said, I'm just going to go through this explanation one more time. It's a bit of kind of build up play out the back. Emerson takes it forward 1-2 with Lucas. He then finds Reguilon at the back post with kind of an overhit cross. Reguilon taps it home. And I think it's honestly, a pretty beautiful goal, if you ask me. A pretty beautiful goal. But we are going to move on to basically the sort of the end of the show here, where you're going to go to players to target. Tim Krul is a player to target. The reason why Tim Krul is a player to target is because Tim Krul has one of the worst post-shot expected goal numbers in the entire Premier League. And that might be because he, is playing for Norwich, who've just conceded a lot of goals, and also because he's not the most consistent shot keeper. He's just not very good at, kind of defending. He's not very good at, being able to block shots at times. He's just not very good at parrying it. He just makes mistakes at the end of the day. Tim Krul, he knows how to make mistakes. And if the PSXG is a way to look at it, it's a very ridiculous sort of stat. But if you need the stats, that's why you're on this show. He has some of the worst post-shot expected goal, which is basically shots on goal at a keeper that you expect the keeper to save. And if he actually has really underperformed that margin. So he's done quite poor in that, regard. So if you wanted to take shots at goal on a keeper, Tim Krul would not be a bad person to do it with. Max Aarons, the reason why he's a player to target is just because he will be coming up against Sonny and Reguilon, basically our most lethal side of the attack in that regard. And so he probably will be ending up being pinned back by the likes of Reguilon and Son. Brandon Williams, the reason why I feel like you target Brandon Williams and Max Aarons is because they're two kind of sort of attacking fullbacks. They're not very good defensively. They're actually better going forward. And so you just attack them because, you just pin them back and, make them have to defend. And they're not very good at defending when I think about it. So there you are, everybody. Those are our players to target. Our key battles are Højbjerg and Skip versus Billy Gilmore and Lucas Rupp. The reason being is because I feel like Skippy will absolutely dominate this Norwich midfield, as well as, it's just it's just they need to be able to kind of, play in between the lines of that back, five really of a midfield. It's like a back five of a midfield. So they need to play in between the lines of Billy Gilmore and Lucas Rupp. So these guys will be coming up against each other a lot. As well as it's Sonny and Reguilon against Max Aarons, like I just described before. Our most lethal, most creative side of our Spurs attack has been our left-hand side. And so Max Aarons will have a lot to deal with. He certainly will. He's not the greatest defensively either, Max Aarons. He's not the greatest defensively, so he will have to come up against them. And then our other key battle is going to be Todd Cantwell and Brandon Williams against Lucas Moura and Emerson. The reason why is because these guys are good going forward, Brandon Williams and Todd Cantwell. And Emerson, though, has been one of our best defenders this season. So I see him handling them quite well. The big issue is, can they handle Lucas Moura and those surging runs that he makes into the middle? Basically him just wanting to skin a player alive, in the middle of the pitch. And Brandon Williams, I think, will suffer against someone like Lucas Moura. And Todd Cantwell, do you expect him to track back against someone like Lucas Moura? I don't know. I really don't know. And so maybe, Lucas Moura and Emerson will be a fantastic battle against the likes of Brandon Williams and Todd Cantwell. And that is the end of the show, everybody. That is the end of the show. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. I certainly enjoyed this one, but that will be all for now in terms of Stats with Jack. Feel free to throw in, a super chat now if you want to ask me any further, questions on this match, any sort of, thoughts that you have about this upcoming, preview, any sort of, questions that have been kind of bothering you about Spurs, maybe even sort of any hot takes or just a bit of appreciation, whatever you feel like. Feel free to throw it in now. I'm going to go through the last bit of comments, but like I said, hopefully you've enjoyed this kind of, tactical breakdown, the stats breakdown on how we can beat Norwich tomorrow. I've had an absolute blast with you guys, but it's nice to run it by myself, get to be a bit of a motor mouth for a while, which is probably not what you're used to. But like I said, it is always nice to be able to do this with you guys. I am going to just quickly plug our second channel. And this is the channel where we basically try to solve all the problems over at Spurs. this is the channel, and I'm gonna, now that I'm back from, kind of taking a bit of time off with the family and whatnot, this is the channel that should be your home, your Bible, I would say, coming up into the January market, everybody, because seriously, it really will be. But hopefully, everybody, you did enjoy this one. The Liverpool fullbacks often cross to each other. We need to try and emulate this. Yeah, they do actually. When they do miss the cross, they actually end up crossing each other. Is Emerson creating enough from the right flank? Probably not, but I would actually argue is that his passing is actually quite decent. He doesn't lose the ball very often, Emerson. As much as he doesn't create very much, he doesn't lose the ball very much, which I think is actually quite decent. He's actually been one of the best defending fullbacks, better than Tomiyasu, at least statistically, and I think even seeing eye test this season, if you ask me, King Hoddle. So he's fantastic defensively, just needs to improve that kind of final ball. Tim Krul is a good keeper. I think he is a good keeper, but he is someone that take advantage of at the same time because he's a bit erratic. He's a bit kind of crazy. He can make incredible saves and then he can make a horrible save. So it's just which Tim Krul are you getting is what, if you ask me. Skippy is better than Billy Gilmore. Gilly Billmore. I cannot agree more. Uh, really appreciate it, my man. Thanks for the effort, Jack. Thank you. Thank you for joining me, Alex. Thank you for joining me, Alex. Really appreciate it. Mark Swift. Really appreciate all the support that you've shown, my brother. Really do appreciate it. And John Fitzpatrick, my brother as well. Thank you for joining us and thank you for giving me all the support. Really do appreciate it. Goes a very long way, my man. Goes a very long way. The Danish Viking needs to put Gilmore on his arse in first few minutes, get the reducer in early. I mean, I don't know if Billy Gilmore is ready to come up against someone like Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. He certainly isn't. Wayne Bonner saying great stream, Jack. Thank you for joining us, Wayne, and hopefully we'll catch you on the preview tomorrow, as well as, this watch along for tomorrow. We'll be doing the double tomorrow with you. So catch me for the preview. You'll be seeing David with a fantastic panel. We picked the best panels in the business. So hopefully head on over there, Wayne, for the preview nice and early tomorrow morning. And then you'll see us for the watch along. And also thank you for all the support and thank you for continuing to support us, Wayne. It really does go a long way. And we really do appreciate it, my man. Really do appreciate it. Absolute brother. Really do. Really love you. Doing well, Kev, but ending the show right now. Rumors that Newcastle may want Wanks. They can have Delhi too, in my opinion. Yeah, they certainly can have Delhi. I mean, they can have them both. It's a 2-for-1 deal. Maybe cyber weekend, at Spurs, when it comes to Spurs shopping, when it comes to players that you want to buy, just have a whole like kind of Black Friday month, when it comes to getting the Deadwood out, 2-for-1 deals, 3-for-1 deals, 4-for-1 deals when it comes to the Deadwood at this club. Seriously. Truth Sets Free saying, nice one, Sonny. Nice one, Sonny. Nice one, Sonny. Let's have another one. Big up. Truth Sets Free. Big up. And seriously, I can't wait to be in the stands. I can't wait to be in the stands to see Sonny absolutely belting one. But big yourself up, Truth. And also, like I said, someone like you as well. Really do appreciate all the support that you give David and I. Really does go a long way. Really does go a long way and really does help grow this channel, really help support this channel and keep David and I going, my man. But I will be ending it off, everybody. Really will be ending it off. So if anybody has any final comments, any final super chats or anything, feel free to put them in. Alejandro Perez saying, big up, Jacko. The scout reports are top class. Won't miss any of the videos during the January window. I hope you don't, Alejandro. I'll be doing a bit more videos also as well with Darius, who I really do worship and really do enjoying stuff with. But that'll be all for now. Emerson gets beaten down outside all the time. Interesting, Sean, but I would say the stats don't really show that. The stats really don't show that. So it's hard to say. I feel like, he was maybe at fault for letting that cross get by for the Leeds goal, but I feel like that's an isolated moment because he has the second most tackles and interceptions in our squad. He already has, I think, the second most tackles in our squad. He's actually has some of the fewest, players dribble past. So very few players actually dribble past the guy. He has the most successful pressures, I believe, in our squad. And also when you compare him to other fullbacks in the Premier League, he actually has literally some of the best numbers in terms of tackles and interceptions, just any sort of defensive stat. If you compare him to every other fullback in the Premier League, he's done literally better than almost any other Premier League fullback. So, maybe the seeing eye test shows that he's not so great, but I think with my seeing eye test as well as the stats, he's actually looked pretty great this season. He's an absolute monster, if you ask me. Kev Williams saying, love the work you do, Jack. Thanks you very much. Come on, you Spurs. Really appreciate it, my man. Really do appreciate it, Kevin. It takes a lot of hard work to do this show. It really does. But I do love running. It gives a bit nice of adrenaline, allows me to be a bit of a motor mouth for a while. So really do appreciate it, my man. Brian Socrates with a big one saying excellent stream and analysis as always, Jack. I'm really glad you enjoyed it, Mr. Philosopher. Really glad you enjoyed it, Mr. Socrates, the designated philosopher of the Harris Army. Really, honestly, it's good to be with you, Brian. And also, I can't wait to vibe with you tomorrow for the watch along and the preview and whatnot. And also, really do appreciate all the support, my man. It's good to have you back. It's good to have you back, Brian C, because I really do appreciate all the analysis. There's no better man at summarizing, what Dave and I probably have been saying for hours in a very short sentence than you. I really do appreciate the big donation, my man. Really do. Does go a long way. And also, absolutely love you, brother. Absolutely love you. Bob Spur, GoFundMe, a true Spurs legend. Truth sets free. I gave him an absolute big one in terms of the GoFundMe. I gave him, I tried to get it over, I think, the 2,000 mark. I helped him get over the 2,000 mark. And then, I think it went even further than that after that. So truth sets free. I've helped Bob during that one. So I think you did as well. If I'm not mistaken, I bet you did as well because you're a very generous man. But truth sets free. I did give him a big donation during our stream last night on the two Brians on Tottenham on Tour. But that will be all, everybody. Really do appreciate everybody for all of the support, all the super chats, all the comments, all the vibes, all the tactical analysis, all the stats analysis, just every single person that's joined tonight. Darksun G, MS, Truth Sets Free, Brian Socrates, Wayne Bonner, Kev Williams, just making sure I'm not missing anybody. Mark Swift, really do appreciate you. Jazz, honestly, it's good to see you. Hope to see you more on this channel. Kuva99, of course. I really do appreciate all your support, my man. Really does go a long way. Of course, MS. And everybody else that has contributed to this stream really does go a long way. Really do appreciate it. Really appreciate, you guys just helping David and I, also helping me during this time as well. It really does, go a long way. This show does take a lot of work. But I will be seeing you guys. We will be catching you tomorrow for the preview, be catching you on the pre-match pump up on Weird Tom TV, and we'll be catching you for the watch along tomorrow. I will be joined by David for the watch along tomorrow. I am back and better than ever. But as always, come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Harris Army. And in Conte we trust.